Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our remediation webinar. Today we'll be covering some items like what is accessible PDF, what are the regulations, what is remediation itself, what is remediation QA, what checkers do we use, and of course all the questions you may have, an appendix with some more other information. What is accessible PDF? Okay, an accessible PDF or an application or a website is considered accessible if it meets certain technical criteria and can be used by people with disabilities. These include access by people who are mobility impaired or blind, low vision, deaf, hard of hearing, or who have cognitive impairments like autistics or cerebral palsy. What is important to say is that the 20% of the internet users have some kind of visual impairment. And in the future, 1 in 3 adults will experience blindness or partial sight as they age. So what is important? What is the importance of the advantage of how accessible PDFs? Well, they allow users with adaptive technology to comprehend and navigate content. Without this functionality, adaptive technology may interpret the document in the wrong order, without important graphics or in a format too jumbled for the user to comprehend. That is why it is very important to do the remediation well and make a good quality to them, a quality check. Let's talk about some regulations that we are having right now and its history. First of all what we are doing are included in what is called assistive technology, products and services that can assist people with disability to perform tasks more easily or independently. These are, of course, the accessible PDF because the computers they will be using will have this assistive technology that will read out loud the document that we are creating as accessible. First of all, it was the Section 508. It was an amendment of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and it was meant for federal agencies and employees first, and then all the people that may need to access that information that the federal agencies does. This is for information technology, including computer hardware, software, and documentation. Then, the World Wide Web Consortium, that is an international worldwide consortium, of course, in 1997 create an accessibility guideline that is what we are working right now. Of course, they have a lot of updates, and the last one was at the beginning of 1918 in January. So the WCAG2 are the guidelines that we are using for creating accessible PDF, and it's meant to web content, including, of course, the PDF that we are recreated that would be posted in some websites. And then in 2010, U.S. Department of Justice create also regulation of electronic and information technology for all the Americans with disability. These includes all the what we are talking about. And then in 2012, Adobe creates a guideline, an accessible, an universal accessibility. These are the parameters that includes all the Section 508s, ADA, and the WCAG2, the Worldwide Consortium. So Adobe creates this. It is an ISO regulation, and they're making accessible PDF. Of course, this is not automatically. Someone has to do it, and I will show you later how it is. Well, what is pre-tagging? One of the questions that everybody asks me is, how about making the accessible PDF with the source? And yes, we can do something, and that is called pre-tagging. The InDesign file can be prepared in a way that the PDF exported is almost accessible. This means adding alternative text to images, use of style to create the tags, title and author, and other things that is needed. This PDF, the result of this PDF is not accessible itself. It had to be checked, and it has to be remediated in some way. For instance, we cannot say inside the InDesign the language of the file, and it is a request for the regulation to have set the language as it is. So, but all this effort for pre-tagging that sometimes some clients ask for it, it should be quote because it's an additional effort. We can do something with Word too, and as far as I know, the next version of the Word document or Microsoft Word will be prepared for accessible, to have more accessibility. The other thing that is important here, that we may pre-tag the document, the InDesign file, and that the PDF will have this tagging, but when we send the files to a vendor remediator, normally they erase all the tag and start over again. This is something that we have to have in mind to be aware when the client asks for us a pre-tagging. What is remediation? To meet the standards required to be an accessible PDF, it has to be remediated. And here are some requirements for the remediation: the tags, the TOCs, alternative text for all the images and graphics, forms, and color. This is very important because for reach all those standards required, there is a method and a guide that allows us to check if everything is done, and that is what we do in the next step, that is remediation QA. What is very important for us is that when you receive a project for remediation, you need to send it to a creative service for a file analysis and quote for remediation QA. We analyze the links, the images, and the alternative text. And we also will provide a quote for remediation QA. You can ask me or Natalia or Marcos to quote for this. This is very important because to do it in the quote stage, because we need to agree with the client what would be the alternative text for the images, or what would be the name or the author of the document. And all of that will be reviewed during the quotation stage. What is remediation QA? The remediation QA is once the PDF is remediated, the PM should assign the file for remediation QA. It is done by my team and some vendors also. What we check? We check the properties, we check, make the reports. We run 2 reports, the Acrobat Pro and the PAC3 checker. We check for bookmarks, tags, talks, TOCs, tables, alternative text, form, color, links, everything. All the links should be working and with alternative text, the same as images. And we have to check if everything is correctly tagged, what it is headers, what it is footers, everything. Now we will talk about the checkers. What are the checkers? To check the accessibility of the document, checkers are used. The results should be in both passes. Some manual checkers are needed too. The most common are Acrobat Pro and PAC3. PAC3 checker, that is the one we have here, and the Acrobat Pro, that is one in the left. We run both because I think that all the accessible PDF should meet both checkers. They are not exactly the same. They have differences. For instance, the checker don't check very much against fonts embed and things like that. And by the other side, the Acrobat Pro doesn't check exactly good the thing with the structure. So we agree with both clients, Aetna and HealthNet, that we will be using both checkers, and so is what we ask for the vendors. All the files should meet both checkers. Both checkers should be passed, like we have here, a very big tick, and well, here is failed. Well, now we will see some examples of remediated files. I have one here that is already remediated, and you can see here the bookmarks at the left. It's mandatory to have bookmarks when the file has more than 10 pages or something like that, 11 I think it is. And here is the file itself. You will not see any different with any other file, but if we look to the tags of the document, for instance here, you will see that it has like little blue boxes. That blue boxes are the tag we are talking about. Here you have the tag, and in the tags it have like, okay, H1 is a header, this is a title, and then you have paragraphs. And if I go down with the arrow down, you will see that this is the way it should be read from the beginning. And then I go to next page, it shows me the tags of all the page, and then I can see all the different tagging with, here you have the list, for instance, with bullets, you have the title in the next page, and so on for all the document. If we come inside a list, you can see that I can navigate through all the languages. This is this way because when the screen reader reads this, it goes from one to one on one and saying that there are a list and there is 1, 2, 3, so many bullets and everything like that. All the tags have different names, so the screen reader will read it out loud in a very good way. And what we check is that everything is tagged correctly, not only the tags themselves, but also the correct order. Then we have another type of view that is with these green squares where we can see the images and if alternative text and the order and everything. And this is how we saw the file. The other thing I want to show you is how we create a full check, and this is what I was talking about, the Acrobat Pro checker. This is the Acrobat Pro checker. It is running the file, and here I have the results. What is okay, what is not okay. Here I have everything is passes, but the two issues are manual check. This is what I was talking about, that some things should be checked manually because the computer don't know the exactly way I want to file to be read. So I have to check it manually, and the same with the color contrast. This is another thing that the file say. Here it says that a content is failed, this file is not correctly remediated, and we have table issues here. If you see here, it will tell you where is the problem that failed. And well, the remediation process will have this to be remediated. If I found a file like this, I will say the vendor, okay, this is not okay, it's not okay remediated, please fix it. And fixes and come back to see if everything is okay. Now I have another file that is more complex than the SBCs. The SBCs has difficult tables that are written in a specific order. If you see now, it is a very complex file, and we can navigate through all here to see if everything is reading in an exact way it should be read. And this file doesn't have a bookmark because it's only 8 pages. Let's go back to our presentation.